I am pleased to have with us tonight the former lead singer for the Police and successful solo musician Sting. Sting, I'd like to talk to you about Carl Jung and your understanding of his theory. But before we get into that, tell us some more ordinary things about yourself.
I don't drink coffee, I take tea, my dear. I like my toast on one side. You can hear it in my accent when I talk. I'm an Englishman in New York.
Okay, thank you very much for that introduction. Before we get into the specifics of Carl Jung's theory, I'd like to know what you think therapy should do for people.
Free, set them free. Free, set them free.
I know this may be a rather personal question, but what have you done to try to find yourself?
I've been to every single book I know to soothe the thoughts that plague me so.
Tell me, Sting, what would you say started you on this path of enlightenment and self-exploration?
You could say I lost my faith in science and progress. You could say I lost my belief in the Holy Church. You could say I lost my sense of direction. Yes, you could say all of this and worse.
What would some people say about you if they didn't know you better?
Some would say I was a lost man in a lost world.
What could happen if you took those people seriously?
I could be lost inside their life without a trace.
What would you recommend then that one do to keep this from happening?
Be yourself, no matter what they say.
As you know, the horror of 9/11 has affected us all. What's it done to you?
You could say I lost my faith in the people on TV. You could say I lost my belief in our politicians. They all seem like game show hosts to me.
Do you think the solution to terror is a military one?
Never saw no military solution.
What will we need to realize then in order to resolve our differences?
We share the same biology, regardless of ideology.
As you know, Carl Jung called the dark or evil side of our nature the shadow. Do you believe that people can be aware of their shadow?
Sometimes we glimpse a shadow.
And what do you think would happen if we could take more responsibility for our own shadow?
The shadow will disappear.
What might somebody say who doesn't look into their shadow?
I'm too afraid to care, I'm too afraid to know. Too afraid to look behind me.
What mantra do you have that keeps you from falling prey to evil?
Deliver me from evil, save me from this wicked snare. Not into temptation, not to cliffs of fall, onto revelation, lessons for us all.
Jung believed that we have both a masculine and a feminine side, and that each of us must integrate the opposite side of what we are. He said one way to do this is by looking for our anima or animus in a real live person. Tell me, what was your anima experience like?
Chemical reaction, desire at first sight, mystical attraction, turn out all my lights. The minute I saw her face, the second I caught her eye, the minute I touched the flame, I knew we'd never die. The minute I saw her face, the second I caught her eye, the minute I touched the flame, I knew we'd never die.
Jung called the journey to selfhood the individuation process. Can you tell us in your own words how you view this process unfolding?
set out on this journey. There were no doubts in our mind. We set our eyes to the distance. We'd find what we would find.
Jung said that we all have a persona, and that this persona or mask is not who we really are. Are you one person privately and another publicly?
The mask I wear is one.
What would you say, Sting, influenced your decision to be the same person privately as you are publicly?
I'm not a man, but too many faces.
Dr. Jung believed that we are not born a tabula rasa, that is, a blank slate. In other words, that we possess psychic remnants of our ancestors. What do you think about such a concept?
Tomorrow's rain will wash the stains away. Something in our minds will always stay.
That's pretty deep. I guess it's like 9/11. That is something that forever will show what great evil man is capable of. What would Jung say that event was supposed to teach us?
Perhaps this final act was meant to clinch a lifetime's argument. But nothing comes from violence, and nothing ever could. For all us born beneath an angry star, lest we forget how fragile we are.
Sting, could you please tell me more about this idea of the rain washing the tears away?
On and on the rain will fall, like tears from a star, like tears from a star. On and on the rain will say how fragile we are, how fragile we are, how fragile we are, how fragile we are.
One of the things that made Carl Jung exceptional for his time was how well he understood the unconscious. If the unconscious could talk in order to help us understand the extent of its awareness, what would it say about itself?
Every breath you take, and every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take, I'll be watching you. Every single day, and every word you say, every game you play, every night you stay, I'll be watching you.
Jung believed that we are luminous beings and therefore believed that spirituality was important for mental health. What do you believe?
We are spirits in the material world. Our spirits in the material world. Our spirits in the material world. Our spirits in the material world.
You know, Sting, Jung saw a connection between God and the unconscious. If that is the case, what is God saying to us?
I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets mine. Message in a bottle. Message in a bottle. Oh, message in a bottle.
Tell me, Sting, based on what you have read by Jung, what would the average person say about their life?
And there's a lonely day, no one here but me. Oh, more loneliness any man could bear. Rescue me before I fall into despair.
Okay, this question is to help us connect the dots between loneliness, God, and the unconscious. Okay, here's the question. If one were to walk out one morning and embrace this phenomena of God flowing to us from the unconscious, how would they describe the experience?
Walked out this morning, don't believe what I saw. 100 billion bottles washed up on the shore. Seems I'm not alone.
Okay, so what you're saying is that Jung believed we could fill our existential loneliness by tapping this connection we have with God via the unconscious, and that such a connection gives our lives greater purpose and meaning. With that having been said, tell me, Sting, do you believe, like Carl Jung, that there is some higher power that is there for us?
Has to be an invisible sun, gives its heat to everyone. There has to be an invisible sun, gives us hope when the whole day is done.
It sounds like you have a pretty powerful relationship with your unconscious. And obviously that relationship has allowed you to fulfill a tremendous amount of your positive potential. After all the two of you have created, what do you have to say to your unconscious mind?
If I ever lose my faith in you, there'll be nothing left for me to do.
Our time is about up, so let me be sure to tell you how much I appreciate your giving us the insights you have imparted upon us. What thought or thoughts would you like to leave with us?
You remember me.
Thank you so very much. Good night.